All right, so what I'm really hoping that you will get out of my talk this evening is just how awesome of an experience it is to find an area where you're thinking, my gosh, there's something wrong here. There's some kind of injustice, there's maybe somebody that needs help, and I'm gonna do something about it. Okay, so where this particular thing has just captured my passion has been at outreach resource centers. Now, outreach has several satellites. There's one in Ogden, one in Clearfield, one in Logan, and what outreach is an organization that is available for all youth from 14 to 23. It doesn't matter who you are, what your walk of life is, it just flat out doesn't matter. If you're a youth from 14 to 23, outreach welcomes you. Now, a particular population that outreach serves, and we're really, really proud of this, is we serve LGBTQ youth. Okay, and the reason why outreach exists is because even though we've become more progressive as time has gone on, and even though huge strides are being made to support the LGBTQ population, we still have a long way to go. And youth in particular are incredibly vulnerable. How come? Well, you're living at home. You're going to school, and you may not have a whole heck of a lot of choice in terms of where you're going to school. Your family members, your peers, other social groups may not be all that supportive of your LGBT identity. Okay, and some of the things that we know about any kind of minority individual is there's bullying. There's discrimination, there's rejection, and the more that gets piled on, the higher risk that person is for all sorts of things that I find unacceptable, especially when we're looking at our youth. Okay? One thing that LGBT and other minority youth are vulnerable to is suicide. At outreach, 60% of our youth have attempted suicide at one point in their lives. 40% of the youth who are homeless today are identifying as LGBT. And again, outreach is open to anybody. It doesn't matter who you are, how you identify, you can be who you are when you are at outreach. Doesn't matter. Okay, so outreach exists because you know what? There's a need. There are too many youth who are suffering, too many youth who are at risk for unacceptable kinds of outcomes, not because there's anything wrong with the youth, but because there's something wrong with society's acceptance of those youth. Sorry, get a little passionate about this. So what services does outreach provide? One of the things that I love about this organization is we know that our youth come from all different kinds of backgrounds, all different kinds of walks of life. So we're prepared to meet pretty much any need that comes our way or almost die trying. Okay, so sometimes we have youth who don't have a place to stay. We try to get them housing, because that's a really important safety kind of issue. We may have other youth who are on hard economic times, whether they're living at home or whether they're not. So we have a very well-stocked food pantry, so that way youth can go in and get food that they need. And because we're open multiple times a week, they can come in several times a week and get the food that they need for the next couple of days. If they're homeless and they haven't been able to shower, and hygiene is kind of important if you're wanting to go to school or get a job, we actually have shower facilities. We have donations of clothing, hygiene supplies, so virtually any basic need, we can really make inroads to trying to get those needs met. We offer educational programming, safe social kinds of activities. We help people learn about healthy relationships and stress management. So it is, I think, probably one of the coolest places on earth, to be really honest with you. So I'm not saying that you need to serve at outreach, even though we would welcome you with extremely open arms. But here's the deal. Service is good for us. Okay, and I know you're busy. A lot of you are high school students, you're trying to get into college, you're trying to have this really attractive resume so that way colleges will want you to apply and beg you to come and give you lots of money to show up and grace them with your presence. But at some point, I would really encourage you to start thinking, okay, where is there a need that someone has? Or maybe if you're really passionate about animals, maybe you want to do something for a charity that helps animals, like the Humane Society or something along those lines. So where is that place? Okay, what could I do not to fix the problem in its entirety? Okay, because if I wanted to solve the problem of youth homelessness all by myself, I'd really have to run from the room screaming and shove my head in the toilet. Okay, because there's no way I, all by myself, am going to be able to solve a problem as big as youth homelessness. Okay, but here's the deal. I don't have to solve it all by myself. I just have to do what I can do to help with a problem or a lack in society, and then I do what I can do, other volunteers do what they're capable or willing to do, and that fire just catches and spreads, and pretty soon we start making some huge strides to make the world a better place. So first of all, find a place. Find an organization, find an issue that you feel really, really passionate about, and then get started. Figure out what you can commit realistically without destroying the rest of your life, but then commit to it. Start doing things an hour at a time, a couple of hours at a time, and what you'll find is inspiration that just grows and grows and grows so wonderfully. So in terms of how my service to outreach has inspired me, I really thought that when I started was, okay, there are some youth who are struggling. Some are not. They're struggling in different ways. I'm a psychologist. I'm trained as a therapist. Of course, I can bestow my talent and my help and my wisdom on these people. Okay, I was never more wrong. I really wasn't, because what I started finding out was absolutely, do the youth benefit from the volunteers and the service? That is absolutely true. Okay, but what I didn't expect was that I was going to be benefiting from this too. Now, certainly, part of our motivation for serving others should be trying to make their lives better, trying to help the world be a better place in that particular small kind of way. But what I found was that anything that I gave to these people and to this organization, I got back 100-fold. Okay, so even if you're not terribly altruistic, you might want to consider serving because it helps you too. You can do it for kind of selfish motivations, but hopefully eventually you'll get inspired by the needs that are out there. So for me, the first thing was I saw a need, I was made aware of a need, and that need was very troubling to me. I was not okay with the fact that minority youth are discriminated against and bullied, and I wanted to do something about that. I may not be able to stop people from doing the bullying and the rejecting per se, but by golly, I can be a safe person so that way those youth could come to me and know that I'm going to care about them and love them no matter what. Okay, I could do that, and I became very determined to do that. So just seeing the need there was just, I can't let this stand. I can't go on without doing something to try to help with this particular problem that I'm passionate about. Okay. What was really unexpected to me was how inspired I got from the youth that I served. And when I talk to other people who serve in different kinds of organizations, they're amazed in very similar ways. They didn't expect to be inspired by the people they served. But it turns out that was a huge part of what they kind of got out of the deal. Some of the things that I've learned about minority youth is, oh my gosh, they are some of the most resilient, strong, amazing people I've ever seen. Okay? Some people who are in minorities for whatever reason, they face so much, the cards can be so stacked against them that sometimes we wonder, how the heck do they even survive? But the thing that's really cool is because of their resilience, because of their strength, they not only survive, but they thrive, if just given half a chance to do so. One thing that's so exciting about resilience research is that oftentimes all it takes is one person who's supportive, teacher, volunteer, grandparent, to help that person get through really, really tough times. Okay, and that's where the service end is really important to me. So many of our youth are incredibly creative. I've read their poems, I've listened to the music they've written or played, and the music's been written by somebody else. I've looked at their drawings, and the talent, the creativity is just absolutely amazing and awe-inspiring. And I never leave my time at outreach without feeling energized and just inspired by the youth with whom I work. I'm also inspired hugely by other people who are serving with me, whether they're volunteers or paid staff. All of us are unique. Shocker, right? You've been told that you're unique and special since you're about this tall, right? Okay, all of us are unique and special. This means that all of us have different strengths. So I've been able to see some people interact with the youth in ways that I would never be able to pull off in a million years, because I'm a very different person. And what I've learned over and over again is it doesn't matter. All you need is you in terms of being able to serve other people effectively. Those youth don't need me to act like the executive director in order for them to benefit from me being there. They just need me being myself and me caring for them and me accepting them and interacting in the way that I do. I'll click with some youth. I may not click with others, but thankfully there are a bunch of other volunteers who interact in their own unique ways, and guess what? They click with somebody. Okay, so the opportunity to serve at Outreach happened for me almost 3 years ago. I teach in the psychology department at Weber State. We offer what's called a practicum experience. So you take the coursework in psychology that you've gotten thus far, and then you go out and use it in a practical, real-world kind of way. Okay, so I heard about Outreach needing some practicum students. I knew a little bit about what LGBTQ youth face, and it's been a passion, so I just jumped right on it. Since then, we now usually have about 5 Weber State students joining me, going over to Outreach, so then I get to see them doing all sorts of cool things that I never would have thought of in a million years, and it's just had the opportunity to blossom and grow just as Outreach has had a chance to blossom and grow. It's literally knocked my socks off, and it's been such an honor to be part of that. So going back to what my hope is for you, I hope that at some point soon you do get the opportunity to serve someone else, serve some other organization, serve some population, and you grab that opportunity and you just give it what you've got. Your unique strengths, your unique talents, not try to change the entire world by yourself, but just do what you can, and you will be amazed and energized and, yes, inspired by that particular experience. Thanks for the honor of being here.